happen again? Um, so basically, what I what I'm pretty sure happened there was I tried a thing and it didn't fucking work. Hey, we back. We have returned. Unable to verify. Fuck off. You're so sweet. Hey. I've never had anybody describe me as swag. This is fantastic. Okay, so things might still break, but I don't think they will. As far as I'm aware, we're in the clear now. I probably should have opened Minecraft before starting back up. That might have been smart. That it'll be fine. It'll be grand. You know? It'll be fine. Probably. Okay. Who just wants friends but is either overly excited or really awkward? I mean, who isn't? Good. I wanna like I wanna be able to make friends with people, but it's just like how do we go about this? Do I approach first? Oh my god, you can see it! It's a blessed day! You're my friend now? Hell yeah! I've made a friend. Hey, look at us go. This is so much easier than it normally is. Wait, fuck. I almost clicked a bad button. Haha. There you go, motherfucker. I saw you YouTube and following you Twitter. Damn, enjoy all those VODs. It's genuinely hundreds of hours of VODs, that is it. I don't know how to edit videos for shit, and now the Insta. Okay, all of those do technically exist, but my god, they're so dead. I appreciate the sentiment, though. Oh, fucking yeah. We lost it. This is fine. We were clearing up some lava for. Oh my god! I can show you the thing because you won't have seen it before. Oh my god! This is great. This is fantastic. Where's the exit? I need to show you this. Oh, we don't have the fucking elytra. Normally I'd just jump down, but I can't do that. I can. My name is literally Death. I do love that. That is a fantastic name. Give me a second. I'm gonna go see if I have a spare elytra because it's so much cooler. Oh no, we lost the moss box. Oh no, we have enough moss. We don't. Didn't really matter in the end. Do I have? I do. Whee! So this is the part we're currently working on and trying not to die in. Yeah, it's giant excavation thing. I think what you need is a friend to stream with. I mean, it'll boost your confidence. I mean, yes, but also I get so very awkward. I don't know when to talk and when to stop talking when there are other people. Do I have any rockets in there? Sorry, that sounded so mean. No, it's fine. I get it. I know that I am very not confident in the slightest. But yeah, this is the thing. I love it. So this has been done for like a year. But this bit's new. I'm the same way? Hell yeah. Even more solidarity. this is in fact the only thing that looks nice in this world. Like, look at those fucking arches. As an American. Hey, Scottish and Irish. But yeah, big hole, basically, is the gist. Oh, we're gonna need to... Oh, no. Oh, we don't have enough of that anymore, do we? We can do a little bit, I suppose. You're Scottish Irish? Yeah! The duo, the drama. I mean, you're not wrong with any of those statements. One may say a little too accurate. We still don't have a shovel, though. We cannot manage to get a shovel. And you know what? That's vaguely impressive at this point in time. The thief! I'm thieving you? Hell yeah! I've been stole. Ah, fuck. There's always more fucking lava. When will the torture end? Do you happen to have a Discord server? I do have a Discord server. It's either in the about, or there's exclamation point Discord. Or if neither of them work, I can send you a link. Because they definitely did used to work, but somebody said recently that they weren't. But yeah, it's there. I found it? Hell yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Friendship. Is this what friendship is? I don't care. Where did I put moss? Oh, that's why I put moss there. Yeah, no, that might explain it. Look at us go. I don't care, I'm thieving you. Hey. No, it's this one. Because I need stuff. Oh, okay. I don't need stuff that badly. Damn, I was gonna say. Discord said no? Aw. Wait. Wait. We can do this. It's fine. Discord will say yes. Wait. Ah. There you go. Pending. I can't. Oh, your god. This is the fastest. I'll just exist. I'll exist just thieving slowly. No, you won't. I refuse. Look at us fucking go. Look at this absolute speed. We're great at this. If anybody's ever called either of us socially awkward in the past, they were wrong. We're socially we're socially forward. Wait, I'm just gonna do that. Really. It's the easiest way to go about it, isn't it? Damn, you refused, the thief? You're funny, but not too funny. Wait. Yeah. Hell yeah, look at us fucking go. I'm glad that you have a channel in your Discord called Help. Yeah, because sometimes some people require assistance. I will not lie, so far it's only been used for, like, memeing. Hello, Cicada. And another called Bread. Yes, that would be due to one of the mods. That would be because of gender. They like bread, what can I say? What can they say, I mean? But yes, how are you doing, Cicada? How's your day gone? I didn't see that. But yeah, I do think they're trying to start up a bread cult, which I should probably be more worried about, I'm not gonna lie. It's just like, you know what they can do? You're good? Hell yeah. I don't even want to know. Neither do I, let's face it. Let's put it simply. I'm not sure anybody wants to know. Except for the people that are part of it. Oh. Fucking lava. I hate lava so much. It's disgusting. Disgusting behavior. Oh, fuck, yeah, we have to go this way. I did almost forget that it was Friday. Small man is me. Just a little small guy. Wanna see if people join VC in your server? I don't know. You're watching and waiting. You're doing a study on people. You'll find out. You know what? Yeah, report back to me on what happens. I do think, not gonna lie, most people there are very socially anxious, so I'm not sure you'll get very far. Unless you're, don't worry, I don't bite. Not even unless you ask me to, no, unless you're mean. There are like 3 continuations from, the I don't bite. It's, I don't bite unless you're mean, unless you ask, or unless you're friendly. Those are the 3 responses I've ever seen. Or the 3 most memorable, anyway. I know somebody who genuinely does the, well, I want to show affection for you, so I'm going to take a chunk out of your arm. No, wait, we just need to... Sorry, I only have one. I have 2 torches on me, look at that. Yeah, we'll go back 2 more. I bite people if I like them, but not like hurt bite, love bite, fair. 2 very different things. I'm gonna need so many more. I think I did genuinely use all of my bones. But I will hurt bite. Well then. No more bones. That harshly? That's a lot of biting. That's a whole lot of biting. That's some jaw strength you've got there. That's quite impressive. It's 1 bite and your bones are gone. Flash, and the dirt is gone. The first and only thing to come into my head. Or was it Bam and the Dirt? I don't actually remember. It's been a while since I've seen that fucking ad. Too long. Too long. I know this. Ooh. No one will ever join VC? Yeah. Probably not, no. I think one person's ever used that VC. I think genuinely one single person, and they fucking, I don't know, they streamed like, I don't know, like Overwatch or something? I'll gift send 10 subs when you affiliate. I mean, theoretically, if I knew how to pay taxes, I could already be affiliate. Unfortunately, there is that roadblock of legality. You know, that fickle little thing. I mean, genuinely, for like over a year now. Ooh, taxes, I pay somebody to do mine? I don't have enough money to be able to do that. So either I figure it out myself or I don't. Though to be fair, you're in America and I would assume kind of have to do that. I'm not even 18 and doing taxes? Disgusting. Absolutely rank. Yeah, we're gonna have to find more skeletons. Okay. We have 16 cooked cod. Be right back. Ooh. Ooh. But yeah. Yeah, we have to find more skeletons, because otherwise we're gonna not be able to continue on with the, with using the moss to get through the rock. Sorry. The words aren't going well. But yeah. Gonna pick all of those up. And that as well. Seeing as, you know, we should probably get rid of those buckets of lava. We should have kept the nether portal. It would have been so convenient. Can we make a nether portal? I mean, like, probably, right? I would expect that we have the stuff here somewhere to be able to make a nether portal. We might not have flint. That might be the problem. We have the obsidian for it, but do we have the means of lighting it? I don't know. Do we? Well, we definitely have the obsidian for it. Oh my god, we have 27 more torches. Sweet. We could mine this one bit of gravel over and over again. This definitely won't take longer than just walking back. Not even walking back, because we have the railway. Like, it wouldn't even take that long. No bread cult, I'm stopping it here. I need to read things more in depth. But hell yeah, I've made a friend. Look at me go. That was definitely entirely on me, not mostly them. Oh my god. Marcus Krug. Okay, we can do this. We won't put it back there, but I'm kind of tempted to. We'll just put it there for now. We might put it, like, down. Like, down in the giant hole that we're making so that there's a reason for it. It being the giant hole. Hey. And suddenly, we're home. I'm not gonna remember where that fucking portal is, am I? Whee! Look at us fucking go! With our shitty little house. We love a nap. Did I take all of the bones, or did I take like half of them? I have a bad feeling I took all of them. Yeah, okay. Next, we empty out this as best we can. Boom. I don't actually know where to put all of all of the buckets. I could not tell you where they should go. Shit. Ooh. Okay, so we probably should have left the rock there, mainly. Seeing how far we're getting with it. You know what? Maybe not. Dirt. Oh my god, rooted dirt. Look at that. We're gonna put all of the not rock back in there so that we can sort that at a later date. I don't have anything for that yet. Where's my little thing? Okay, that's got Knoa, not Knoa. Okay, we're also putting that in there. No, wait, fuck, one of these has... There you are. Just doing silly little sorting. Boom. I didn't think this through. We're not gonna put that in there, we're gonna put the in here. Oh my god, we have one bone. That goes in there. Technically not, but you know what? I like how this chest is labeled bows, and we have swords, shovels, everything in it. It's not a bow. Oh, it's not just for bows anymore. Then you can go in there. We're just gonna pop everything back in there. Just, yeah. We're gonna go through them until we can no longer fit. I think that might be gravel. It is! Look at me go! My eyes, they work. Are you startled? I sure fucking am. And then we move on to the one above. We move all of this into there. I kind of wish you could, like, drag the mouse across and things would just go into, they would, like, swap. That would be just too convenient, though. Oh, fuck. This is fine. I mean, technically, yeah, we have the sorting system for fucking everything back at the other thing, and we do still kind of need we do still kind of need them. Just a little bit. Just a tad. We're gonna grab some food. It was bones. We need bones. You motherfucker. Ruined my fucking thing. I still don't actually think this works. That's the main problem. Like, I just... Oh, okay! Oh, fuck! Oh my Jesus Christ. Why is this still here? I thought I blocked up this hole. The fuck? Oh, we need an ender chest. That's what, because we lost our last second one. How would... Look at us go, I guess? Why is it... I don't want to know. No, I know why it's there. I just don't want to accept the fact that I put it there and then almost killed myself with it. You know what, it's kind of shit, but it could be worse. You know? Hello. Do you want to be my buddy? No, okay. That's fine, I guess. Yeah, no, I don't think it actually spawns anything is the problem. Or at least not enough to, like, make it worth it being there. Oh? Oh, there are a whole 3 of you. Wow. Come on. I don't... Come on, you know you want to... Oh my god, they can fucking swim! We didn't take the sword out of the oh, we fucking did. Okay. You're back? Hell yeah, welcome back. I am hoping desperately that this mob spawner works, even though I am certain that it doesn't. It's fine. We need more bones. We don't have enough bone meal because it all burned last time. Me when? So about the SMP? So about the SMP. What about it? What you wanna talk, what you wanna tell me about it? Have 7 people died? Then this is doing fucking now. We could... I'm just trying to make sure there's a slot for you in case it gets full, that's fine. Which may be today, ooh. Look at you go. How many people are gonna be on it? If you do not mind me inquiring, we're gonna go to the spider farm so that I can at least, get XP on the pickaxes until night, or I'll just manually, get rid of skeletons. Exterminate them. Probably 10, but there's at least 20 on the Discord. Ooh. $16 it can have. Okay. That was speedy. So I'm gonna guess no fleeing, no mega exploration, I'm going to assume, for the people that get on. 'Cause God, that would... No, you can? Oh. Oh, damn. Good. 16 is way more than enough? Okay. I tried to make a server like 3 times. Only 1 time was it ever even vaguely successful. To be fair, that was because I was running it off of my laptop. So, yeah. It's only used when it's like 6 gigs, but that's because of mods? Okay. Mods are a pain. My sneaky stash of bones! I was hiding my bones from even myself. Sorry, I'm not sure you can actually see anything. I don't think that helped. What was that bitrate? Only uses about 0.5? Ah, okay. Okay, I can see why it's gonna be about 10 people then. Fair. Damn. Didn't know that. Could be a max of 25. Okay. I've never had somebody actually explain to me how servers work before. To be fair, that's normally because I'm the one trying to set them up. I'm so sad. Why are you so sad? Want to VC with somebody? But no one exists. I mean, you can put a thing in general that you're gonna be in the VC. Like, hi, would anybody like to chat? And then awkwardly wait for nobody to respond ever. It's a weird mix of when people are talking, sometimes it's like, oh, that's multiple people. Other times it's somebody will send somebody something, and then somebody will respond 5 days later. Which is impressive considering there's like, what, 20, 30 people I put stuff in general? You put out a call to arms and nobody responded? Oh no. Yeah. It happened. I am very much like people have shit in life. God damn, this spotter is so much shitter than it used to be. What has done this? Oh my god, it's nighttime. VCG, please join, I'm lonely. That's a little sad, bro. Not gonna lie. All separate. All separate messages. Blizzard. 2 minutes later. I'm sad, please. Guys, I'm lonely. Oh, I don't have trousers on. In-game. In-game. I do realize how odd that sounded afterwards. It's okay. I register words that come out of my mouth. IRL? No, I do have trousers on, I promise. It's far too fucking cold to not have trousers on. It's like less than 2 degrees. You will not catch me being trouserless in 2-degree weather. It's freezing. It's so fucking cold. I'm currently wearing 2 jumpers. That's how fucking cold it is. It's cold. I'm gonna go find some armor to put on because it's in the house somewhere. I just don't know where. I do like how I just have shulkers fucking everywhere. They're just around. I'm gonna put these back in, and I'll pick them up in a bit. And also that. Okay. But yeah, I currently have 2 jumpers and a thermal t-shirt on underneath it. It's like, goddamn, it's cold. Oh, that's fine. And then that one. Look at us go. Cicada, why are you trapped so? Oh, I forgot that I put the render distance even further down than normal. This is a mix of my pickaxes are dying, I want XP, and also, yes, bones, please. I want your bones. Give them to me. Wait, does this hurt? No, it doesn't. Wait, no, what's Krakador? Oh, yeah, it should. No, is that trash? It's fucking one of them. Yes, one or the other. We ate our potatoes and we move on. We continue to conquer the world around us. And somebody's just fucking thrown something at the floor. Isn't that sweet? Why are there so many? The one time I don't want creepers. And there are fucking billions of them. This is sad. Alexa, play Stacy's mom. That's right. I changed the meme format. Not the meme format. I took the format thoroughly. I ripped it completely from previous users. However, I've altered it ever so slightly. And that makes it funnier, obviously. Yes. You know, like random yellow text? Yeah. What does the random yellow text say? This parrot is no more, it has ceased to be. Why would you kill the parrot, huh? Who would dare kill the parrot? This is blasphemy. It's heresy, I might say. Find the heretic of the parrot religion. Those words all have something to do with one another, I'm sure. Where did the... There did the skeleton go?
No, the sun is rising.
We should totally, like, be gay. It would be pretty hard for me not to be. Oh my god, you dropped so much goddamn gunpowder. Oh your god, on mission to be a mod here. Well, I mean, the bar is pretty low. I have, in total, 4 mods. Though, to be fair, I know all of them. I don't think any of them have showed up in the past month. Even if it means no sleeping. Wait, what time zone are you in? You will know me? Oh. Is that a threat? I think it is, actually. Yeah, no, you said it's a threat beforehand. Whoopsies. Give me... Not the one with the block. Yeah, I think that is genuinely the first Enderman I've successfully killed without aggravating first. It's 2 p.m. Damn. Oh, almost 2 p.m. Okay. So you're what, 6 hours behind me? It's almost 8 for me. Your people know? I know, but I needed the ender pearls. I need to make more... I need to make backup, ender chests. Because I lost my last ones. I need it. I'm an Endarian on the server? Ooh. I'm sorry for doing it in front of you. Why? Oh, there isn't a hole in the roof. Oh yeah, I'm just saying now. If I am allowed a slot, then anything I build will either look like this and shit, or it will be underground and not so shit. I don't know how to do roofs, so yeah. Roofs are not my strong point. They're really not. Vaguely decent at terraforming, I guess. Pillars, though. Pillars is my one strong suit. You will rip pillars from my cold, dead fucking hands. Okay. We're probably gonna go until... until both of the pickaxes are okay again. That's probably when we'll go back to mining. Sorry, your dad called. I mean, fair. Oh shit. I'm not clumsy at all. I know what my fingers do. And I want to become a mod. How do I do that? I don't fucking know. Not much happens to where I'm funny and I'm gay. Well, I mean, and I know how to play Minecraft. Ooh. And server stuff. Wait, do you mean a mod in the Twitch? Or the Discord? You got it. I mean, yeah, genuinely. So far, the qualifications have been... Oh, both. Both. Oh, you're gunning for a high spot then. Oh. But yeah. I don't know. All of the mods that I currently have know me in real life, yeah. I just want the title. I'm actually qualified? Bro, I'm not qualified. I don't care if you're qualified or not. care about qualifications. Like, I'll play your little game. Like, to put it into perspective, most of the actual, like, deleting of messages that I've had to do has been, like, bot spam. Not even really spam, it's been basically people being like, ooh, come buy shit from me. That's the extent of what I've had to do in the last 6 months. I just want the damn badge. Oh, really? I wanna. Oh my god, you wanna flex on the plebs? How could you do that? I say plebs. Do you like the no running textures except for that? No, I wanna flex on the gays. Bye bye, cicada. Have a good rest of your school. Cause you're better. You're better, are you? You'll be back? Okay. You're better than the when you know what, when I consider it, all of my mods are queer. In some way, shape, or form. In most ways, shapes, and forms, actually. Huh. It's a running theme. Look at me go. See, here's the thing. Oh. Oh, what's the thing? If all mods know you IRL and you don't, yeah. That'd be a bigger flex. Yeah, it probably would. Oh, hello, Nightbot. That was E, not W. Yeah, it would be like, well, I was. They didn't know me IRL, and even then, I still, I'm going for the top. You really are. Sorry if I keep bumping the microphone. It's also sorry for the amount of breathing that you can probably hear. It's there. I don't have a windsock thingy or a pop thing. I'll make a whole YouTube video. I haven't posted in 2 years. Bro, I haven't even been doing this in 2 years. For 2 years. I will be soon, though. Oh god, that's a lot of... Fucking hell. I've been doing this since 2020. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my... So you haven't put up a video since you, like, started? Or 2019? Ah, okay. Fair. I tried so hard to edit a video once, and then the fucking rendering wouldn't work properly, so it didn't save as a video. It saved as some other weird ass file type, and I just broke down. I haven't touched an editor since. Like, I spent hours on that video and it just didn't fucking work. I'll look at what you're... Ooh. Can I get a VIP if I edit YouTube videos? I don't think I'd put somebody up to edit YouTube videos. You'll prove yourself. Because to be fair, most of the videos that I want to do are like I don't remember the word. But yeah, the main one that I've wanted to do involves sifting through like 40 hours of footage. I wouldn't put that on anybody. That would be horrendous, genuinely. I can do it. I don't think I want to make you do it, though. We've done over 200 hours. Oh, you poor fucking soul. Oh my god. But yeah, when I was like, it took me 2 days. Fucking hell. That's just... You're cracked? You are cracked. In the noggin. But yeah, when I was like... I don't actually remember how old I would have been, but fucking... Oh... In probably about 2015, 2016, I tried to make a group channel with a couple of my friends. I was in primary school at the time. September 7th, 2019. Damn. Look at you go. That's quite a while. God. And we gave up on it pretty quickly. It lasted for like 3 months. That's my birthday, not the 29th. Yeah, I'd hope you weren't 5. I would... less than 5. I'd hope you weren't 4. Oh my god, less than 4. I can't count. I'd hope you weren't... fucking... 3. I would hope you weren't 3 years old. Oh my god, I'm just proving Valk right in the fact that I can't... count. I'm 3. Ooh, look at you go. You're less than 3. I know so many people that hate the automatic, Twitch emotes. It's pretty funny. I'm kind of fucking glad we gave up on the YouTube channel though. Because I was a kid, I was an entitled piece of shit, but we also all were, so it was, you should be allowed to turn it off, genuinely. It's like, sometimes it's kind of funny when I'm sitting here and seeing people get so annoyed at it. But then you're the one trying to put like a little smiley in chat, and then it becomes this ugly fucking thing. Are you a little brain box too? I'm a little brain dead almost. God. System is what I mean. As far as I'm aware, no. You say we a lot, do I? Well then. Yeah, no. As far as I'm aware, the answer is no. But who really knows? As far as I'm aware. Listen, you know, I have to point it out. I'm just saying, I've no definitive proof, but I've looked it up a couple times, and some things, they're a little too consistent. Other than that, other than my borderline paranoia, could go either way. Wouldn't that be a really fun way to figure it out? Somebody asks, you ever need a buddy? I'm here mostly. Fair. My path! I hate saying we, it annoys me. Fair. Oh, I'm so bad at PvP. It's not even a player. It's just me being bad. That's it. That's it. That's because I'm double tapping W to sprint. That's why. Oh my god. I'm a loser. You have to explain. What if I stole you? Called you, what would you do? I'd probably be very confused. What if? Oh my god, what if? My brain immediately went to the, what if we kiss now, bro? Maybe I want to confuse you? You don't even have to try confuse me, it's my perpetual state. Like, at any given point in time, chances are I'm baffled. No, genuinely, one of my teachers asked me a question in the hall the other day, and I went, yeah, I'm a little befuddled. I'm a little who the fuck says that? Who the fuck says, oh yes, I'm just a little befuddled right now, sorry. What the fuck? What was going through the noggin? Nothing, apparently. I think that's the first time I've not screamed at seeing a baby zombie. That's like a record for me, not screaming at a zombie. At a baby zombie in particular. Normal zombies, they're fine. Baby zombies, they're fucking terrifying. Why do they exist? They don't- it's unnecessary. Why are baby zombies harder to kill than normal zombies? Huh? What's up with that? What if? Creeper. Oh man. We're not in a mine. We're swinging a pickaxe. It doesn't fit. Fuck. I'm not sure if I liked that hee-hee actually. That hee-hee concerns me. I'm past confused, I've gone right over to concerned. Look at what you've done to me. Fuck. Stop double tapping. It's because my actual sprint button is fucking control. That's what my sprint button is. Because no, I couldn't have put it as shift. I couldn't have learned to sprint with shift. No, it had to be with control. No, it was still with the double tapping W. It's just been a while. I didn't expect that one to kick back in. That would be purely because I played in like 1.7 in the past 3 months. No, nothing broke. Good. Hey, we're on a stack and a half. Jesus. You dropped so much of your clothing, my god, fella. Why? Man's really took off all of his clothes before he died. No more clothes? All of the clothes. The only piece of clothing he didn't drop was his hat. Oh my god. Oh, it's a baby. It's a fucking baby. It's more than one baby. Baby, oh! It's like, baby, what the fuck? I hate you, baby, you're a bitch. Da 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 da. Yeah, fuck off, you piece of shite, you. This is going fantastically. You could never say otherwise. Did you like my rendition of the hit song, Baby, by Justin Bieber? I, for one, think it went fantastically. We're gonna... swap those out. I'm gonna go get the more... The more? Yeah, that's a sentence. The end of that was gonna be skeletons. People scare me, as they should. As they should. Was that because of my hit song, my fantastic rendition of the hit song Baby by Justin Bieber, though? Is that what incited the people scare me? Because if so, I'm offended. Mortally offended, one may say. I'll never recover from this. Nope. Hell yeah. You loved it? Even better. As you should. I mean, I didn't expect anything less, but you know, you just gotta check in every now and then. I don't know what's happening anymore. And now we go and we put away the stuff. Yeah, we'll put it all away for now. We're also gonna take this out so that we can put that in. We're gonna pop it all in there. Are they all weapons? No, but alas. I will be right back. I'm gonna go to the toilet very quickly. If you've been here for like over 40 minutes, go get a drink or something, preferably not vodka or vinegar. And I shall leave you with some music, and I'll be back in like 2 to 4 minutes. Enjoy the song! I've returned from the depths. I hope you enjoyed your little break from me, because you will probably be getting another one. Sorry, I'm adjusting the headset. That's why it's so creaky. Oh, that's the thing that broke. Give me a second. Un momento, por favor. Martod alon. I don't remember the word for thing. I should know the word for thing. That's kind of embarrassing. Aha. How did we get a ink sac? I'm confused. That's a little confusing, one may say. Me, I would be the one to say that. Okay. And now we're in a pond. And then out of said pond. Look at us go. I know how to person. And now we're down here again. For now I'm noticing it. Now I'm noticing when I say we. Not sure how to feel about it. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna go until... Oh, I put all the bones away. Fair enough. Gonna go. Gonna stay here until the second pickaxe is basically, replenished. And then I shall return back to the pit. I feel like it's been more than an hour. It feels like it's been more than an hour. We're into the segment of time where I just start picking random things up off my desk and messing with them. Currently it is my house key, and also the key for a bike lock that broke. Genuinely, I tried to use the bike lock at one point, and the bit where the key went in just fucking shattered. So that was nice. You know, that was sweet of it. I appreciated that. Really did. Don't see why somebody wouldn't appreciate it. Oh my god, I should have just stayed here. You go in the garden, you'll find something waiting right there where you left it, lying upside down. When you finally find it, you'll see how it's faded. The underside is lighter when you turn it around. Everything stays right where you left it. Everything something. Everything stays. Everything changes in little ways. Boom, good song. What if we just gander over there? But yeah, most of my year currently in different country for a foreign trip because COVID got in the way of us doing it at an earlier time. And so I get to be concerned about their health constantly. Because like everybody I talk to in school has gone on the trip. So I'm just sitting here being like, yes, this is fine. This is perfectly okay. I am okay with this. I am not scared at all seconds of the day. It doesn't help that, like, for the 2 days beforehand, they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll harass you by texting you constantly," and 2 of them have contacted me. Oh, okay. Me, I'm sensitive. Me, I'm promoting me. Oh my god. Give me a second. Oh, fucking sure. Hey. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I did. Oh my god, you joined. Yeah, I figured might as well. Like, even if I don't end up actually going on the server, then I can still, like, talk to people. Bro really said fuck it? Bro really did say fuck it. Bro saw. Like, yeah, like, my phone is muted and I don't tend to. So it doesn't make noises when things happen, because otherwise I would get so very distracted. And, like, for some reason, my laptop just does not give me notifications for anything ever. But yeah, might as well. If not, yeah, I can chat to people. Turn to nighttime. Please. Hey. Boom. But yeah. If nothing else, I can be there for support. I say, having known you for an hour and 14 minutes at most. No, more than an hour and 14. Like an hour 20. Such a big difference. I don't know. I don't know what's happening anymore. Words coming out of my mouth. That's my whole thing. If you're confused, don't worry. So am I. I don't have a single thought behind my eyes. That's why you can't see them. Haha, joke's on you. I don't even have eyes. I don't have any facial features. That would be, like, comically horrifying. Or would it just be... I don't know. Would it just be horrifying? I think it would be funny. If somebody just didn't have any facial features. Ah! I think it would be funny, so therefore I'm saying that it would be funny. And you can't fight me on it. Because this is not a democracy. If I disappear, it's because my mum be yelling. Fair enough. Woot. There be a dude. There be another dude. I get very lucky and people generally knock on my door when they have to complain about things. I hate the range zombies. I've talked about this, like, constantly. I hate how far away zombies can, like, sense you from. I despise it. It's too far. What are you doing? Smelling me? Bro? That's weird. I'm a minor. That's a crime. Probably not, actually, but it's still weird. I feel like sniffing people randomly should be some sort of criminal offense. Not punishable by much, just like a €10 fine. Though that would be quite hard to prove. Okay, I get it. I get it. Some things they're just not meant to be. Oh my god, I've covered up something on screen perfectly. That is fantastic. It doesn't really matter. But, like, my forethinking is fantastic. I've never thought this much before. This is impressive, I say, taking 4 higher level subjects. Thank God it's not a baby. I hate baby zombies. They're the worst thing ever. I hate them. I hate them, and I will continue to hate them. And you can't do anything about it. You can't stop it. It's just a fact of life, okay? Scaramouche, can you do the fandango? Creeper, oh man. You also can't make me stop referencing that. It won't happen. It's far too ingrained in my little head. My little stupid head. There aren't many thoughts. No, there are many thoughts, but they're just not cohesive. Or coherent. They don't make sense together or by themselves, basically. That's the gist of how my brain works. It's pretty goddamn accurate too. I finally changed my language to Scottish. Ooh. Mine is very much not. Wait, that is... Yeah, okay. Is yours Irish? Yes. Yes, it is. Because if I'm doing this, I might as well be getting... or Latin! Might as well be getting slightly better at one of my subjects while I'm playing video games, right? Det är gott, kan starta. Ta an tarsa ach agus ta pian ima cian. Ah! Bitch! But yes, no, not Latin. That would be pretty funny though. No, you bastard! Fuck! No, leave me alone. Leave me be! Bitch! I lost the ability to speak Scottish ages ago. Fair. Especially considering you no longer, like, live in the country. So I'm trying to relearn it? Hell yeah! We love that. I've just never been very good at any language, including English. Just doesn't go down well. Like, it's decent enough, but when I say that, I do mean there have been days where I've tried to say things and I've swapped through, like, 4 languages trying to say a singular sentence. It happens. It's not coherent. The 4th language being basically garble. My brain loves itself, definitely. Bitch. You shot me. You did drop a bow, though. I am pleased. But yeah, genuinely putting Minecraft in other languages does help. I will not lie. Like, obviously not with, like, sentence structure or, like, conversation, but it does help with, like, just a wide range of words. Thanks, I guess, for shooting them into me. I know how to say iron now, exactly. Like, I know how to say fucking experience, which is a thing that comes up quite often. Yeah. Like, I'm probably not pronouncing things right. Well, no. I know that experiences. What the fuck was that? What am I, impersonating a bee? tahi is experience. But yet, it's like, oh, work experience, or like, life experience. But yeah. It's either Iran or like, Iran. Iran? I don't fucking know. Look at folklore. My dad is still trying to vaguely fight me on the fact that, oh, Welsh isn't a Celtic language. Just like, yes it is. Yes it is. Shut up. No! I hated you, but God, you were with me for so long. So I'll miss you now that you're gone. Gonna need that. Can pop that in there. I want to go over here to pop the spider's eyes in. And like the string and stuff. Just because I can't store it all back in my home. Oh wait, we can trade that. Okay, just take damage, why don't you? Fucking lacer. Fucking course it is, goddamn. Oh my god, it's a bitch. Sorry. Didn't mean to sneeze on you. Just happens every now and then. Whee. That was snazzy. Look at me fucking go. Why do I... I'm a Doroct, but unenchanted? Fuck off then. I remember when that happened. I accidentally duped one of my axes because my laptop crashed. See how I learned languages from Minecraft? Yeah. Oh my god! Yeah! Texture pack! I went through so much shit to get this goddamn texture pack. Did I use the one I want to learn? Yeah. It works, and it works well. The unfortunate thing is, because I'm specifically trying to learn Irish through games, it doesn't work a lot because not a lot of games have Irish as a possible language to use. So I know what it is, and it makes... Exactly! Yeah, oh my god. This is oh my god, those are compound books, okay. Those are also compound books. But yeah, look at this, it's so nice. Yeah, like it's allowed in some games, which is close. Yeah, it's just, it's also the really fun thing of a lot of the times games will they'll get it wrong. It'll just be wrong. Which is to be expected because a lot of places are just, hello. Hi Sophie, it's been so long since I've seen you. How are you doing? It's been ages. How's life? Why do I have so many bows? Hey, you still remember me? Of course I do! You were like within the first 50 people! It would be hard to forget! Do I remember all of the first 50? No. Do I remember most of them? Yes. Or at least I try. But yeah, how's life going? It's been a minute. There's so much gunpowder, I love it. Okay. No, you go in the corner. Look at this. Look at this fantastic shit. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's kind of, it's not exactly the easiest thing to do. Believe me, I've been trying. Not very hard. I stopped posting on TikTok so very quickly. We're getting there though. We're almost at 160 people, and that's pretty goddamn impressive. That's pretty nice. Wait, sorry, I have to check a thing. As in, I'll be standing still on Minecraft for about 2 minutes. I've attempted. Damn. Yeah! Good job. Hey. I try. God, it has been like a year. Not exact. No, it would it have been? I don't. We can check. You dragged a year ago. No. Messages. Give me those messages. Last time was the 23rd of June last year. Fucking hell. But you've returned! Wait, haha. Sorry. To laugh at somebody on the internet. Who doesn't need to do that? They slighted me once. Not even really me. Not me. They did nothing to me. However, they did insult one of my friends. Not really even insult. They hurt one of my friend's feelings, so every couple of months I go and I haha at them in private. I am a petty person. Oh my god. It's fine. I didn't just find another fucking... But yes, okay. The one, we're gonna grab all of these. Not all of them, but like, most of them. We'll take one of those, and then all of these. And we're gonna go on a little journey. I can't stay, so see you in a year when you blow up. I look forward to seeing you again when I blow up in a year. Thank you for the well wishes. I hope your year goes well. Have a nice rest of your day / year. Now it's March. Jesus. How's it March already? That's disgusting, actually. The fact that it's March. I can't stand that. I can't. It's just rude of time to do that. I don't know why I still have the, like, the detector rails there. On the ones that are permanently on. I don't know why I still have the detector rails on them. Because they're kind of useless at that point. The council. It's such a shit door, but it's also the first cohesive bit of redstone I did here, so it will always hold a place in my heart. We'll make this better at some point. I don't know when exactly, but it'll happen, I promise. Fuck. One day I'll be able to fly down this staircase as well. That's my to-do list. Make staircase better, blow up before next year. And make and yeah, I don't remember which staircase bit I said first. Wait, actually, which ones have stuff in them? You can go over there. You can also go there. You two can get put down. That's fine. Yeah, okay. And then we go and we see if we can sort the stuff in. Okay. Nice. Give me a second. Okay, so, that, over, andesite, diorite, and gravel. What if I swap that out for that? Huh? What if I do that? Is it the best sorting system? Fuck no. But it's better than what I had. Okay. You, and you. And it should, theoretically, just keep on— yeah, baby! It's just gonna keep on fucking going. Okay, so. Okay, we do have to add that at some point, evidently. Ah, shite. No, I put the fucking gravel back in circulation. God damn it. I do have to make these like solid blocks at some point though, because otherwise they get caught on the edges. It's fine, he'll just genuinely be clicking forever. Oh, sweet. Oh, nice. Yeah, or we could do that. That works as well. Yeah, look at that. Is it loud? Yes. Is it annoying? Only at a close distance. Question. Okay. Where there? I'm gonna pop you back there as well. And then I'm gonna put others. Oh, we can't put you there though. We'll put you on the wall beside it. And we'll put everything that isn't at this point moss in there. Because it's gonna be a whole fucking lot of moss. It's gonna be so much fucking moss. Oh, do we have we do have torches. Hell yeah. We have more than 3. Look at us fucking go. talent at its finest. We'll do like the actual like sculpting and shit of it at a later date when it's like completely excavated. But for now, this shall work just fine. For now, we'll just get rid of all of the stuff. We'll go into shaping later. It's like a haircut. You get hello, welcome back, Cloud. We have returned to mossing. It's moss time. You best believe me when I say that. Ignore the weird amounts of lag when I get rid of all the moss. Just don't pay attention to it. It's fine, I promise. We will also need a new hoe. We need a new hoe. Fuck! That almost ended badly. I'm gonna go click on the bed. I'm gonna go do that. And it's nighttime. How convenient. Look at this spectacular timing from me. It's definitely still going. I'm not gonna go over and check. I'm aware that it's still going. Okay, I'm gonna put that in there. Gonna pop you down there. Gonna grab some of my immense amounts of riches. Just gonna pop all the random shit in there. Boom, 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 boom. Da 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 da. We don't have any fucking wood in there though. Why would we have wood in there? Why is that a thing we'd have in our ender chest that's supposed to be full of useful things? Oh my god, you can see Fifi! This is Fifi. This is what my branding's based off of. This is Fifi, the rat. We only have Fifi because one of my mods insisted when I was first excavating this that we keep Fifi. Oh my god, some of the council is still here? The council! Oh my god, it's still fucking going. Okay. Oh, that's empty now though. Oh, where's it fucking going then? Oh. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fuck. It's fine. It's probably only 70 bits. It was only 13 to be fair. I sent you a link to a site on Discord which has more accurate Minecraft translations, including Irish. Hell yeah. I shall check that out. That's snazzy. Because for some reason, I doubt that ghasts are directly translated, and I didn't even get the fucking word. Directly translate into ghastly. Has a whole list. They have to approve them? Hell yeah. We'll take 6. It's a texture pack. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. It'll be a little fiddly because of how I have this set up, but other than that, we're gonna pop 2 of them in there. Other than that, it should be fine. I have it set up in a weird way so that I can use Optifine and also replay. Scottish is 79%. Incomplete. And I'll check Irish. Ooh. That's a pretty snazzy percentage, I'm not gonna lie. To be fair, it's mainly the phrasing that's off. And I think the newer ones are also off. Oh fuck, how far this way do we have to— oh shit. Irish is 93? Hell yeah. That's pretty fucking impressive. I guess, to be fair, more people probably widespread speak Irish than Scottish. 973 untranslated. Look at them go. I just go up to my Irish teacher next week and I'm like, hi, so could you translate these words? Just hi, sorry, I have a list of words I'd like you to translate. How many words is it? Only 900 of them. Only almost 1,000. A word a class. Well, I've 10 weeks left, 4 classes a week. I can get 40 words. I just send the list to somebody from a Gaeltacht. Just be like, hi, so, theoretically, if you're not doing anything right now, would you mind? Okay. That is... yeah, that is the same level. Okay, nice. Nice. I need to mine that redstone. And that redstone. Woo. This is how we're going about doing the... I should get the mob farm fucking running properly. Otherwise it's just gonna be a fucking pain. It's gonna be a pain anyway, to be fair. But at least then I could, like, just sit in a mob farm and chat. Instead of, ooh, doing things. Ta-da. all spread so fucking weirdly. I don't know how to, because like it makes sense that it spreads sporadically. But like also, God, be predictable. Please. For my sanity. We shall start from here and move our way over. Sporadically? I don't know how that word works. I don't know the shape of it. I don't really get the whole, like, fighting of... Recently, one of my friends went around asking people in the group, like, oh, what color do they think certain subjects are? And, like, unsurprisingly, people gave different answers. My God, who could have foreseen this? It's just, it's like, we all went to different primary schools. We too all take different subjects now. 3, one of you went to primary school in a different fucking country. So, like, for me, English is green, and Irish is... I don't fucking know what color like, Irish is, dark blue. Science is a kind of purpley color. Maths is red. But yeah, unsurprisingly, people disagreed with me on that. Wow, who could have thought? Like, I'll stand by maths being red until I fucking die. But, like, some people don't do Irish. Some people didn't grow up with Irish. It's like... Oh my God, opinions. Who could have imagined this? I won't stand by science, mainly because I don't actually do any of the 3 sciences anymore. Like, I would say out of the sciences, fucking physics, also red. Chemistry is like an orangey color. And I don't know what color biology is. I don't like biology. Was never good at it. Never really cared for it. Woot. Like, yeah, people have gone to a different country. For that, I gave them some plasters because I was like, I can't be there to actually make sure you don't get yourself hurt, but I can at least mildly take part in making sure you don't get an infection from it, right? And fucking yesterday, I got a picture of somebody just using plasters, and I'm like, okay, this isn't what I wanted. I didn't want to know when you use them. That's even worse. But they were very happy because it was a shark. The one that they used had a shark on it, and like, this person is all for dinosaurs, but I guess sharks are the next best thing, you know? No, this doesn't fucking go far enough. It's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly fine, I suppose. Woo. I feel like I either need to be more unhinged or I need to put music on in the background. And I don't know which one. I feel like unhinged. But I also kind of have a headache, so I don't think unhinged is gonna happen. Sad days. What? There we go. Okay. Most of them are about the same level. Okay, nice. Good to know. Good to know that that was there. Loved knowing that that was right there. Loved being aware of that, you know? Just absolutely adored being aware that that hole was there. Just fucking loved it, really. Fucking magical knowledge to have been aware of. To have held myself as a human being. Yup. That there was, in fact, a cave underneath me at that very second. There we go. You say goodbye and I'll say hello. Oh my god. There you go. Then we go into this corner and we continue to get rid of the sides. Because why work harder when you can just work faster? It's not even particularly smarter, it's just faster. Like, smart would be a fucking TNT duper or some shit. However, I'm not that intelligent. There you go. Piss off with your zombie noises. Oh, hello. Get hoed, motherfucker. Oh my god, is that diamonds? It fucking is. Would you look at that? Would you look at those fucking diamonds? We'll get them at some point. I'll acquire them eventually. Yeah, how far down is the death pit? The death pit's still over there, okay. We'll extend it outwards at some point. Yeah, blow up, motherfucker. Unlike me. Sag. I never want to say Sag aloud again. I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be who I am. You know, it's just like, that. It's a type of person that says that, and I don't want me to be that type of person. That was almost, if that had been anywhere else, that would have been fucking horrific. I would have had to take down another fucking tree. Do you know how horrific those things are to get rid of? Fucking hate trees, especially in caves when I don't have access to an axe. Like, trees in general, fine, go for it. Not in my fucking cave though. Not in my fucking swamp. Not in my swamp. I will not stand for it. Boom. Just forgot about this bit. Like, entirely. What are you doing, piece of shite? This is fine. This is perfectly a-okay. We're gonna eat some more of our protty, and we're gonna suck it up. That's how we're gonna do it today. That's just how we exist as of right now. Not actually sure how I feel about baked potatoes. It's like they're fine, right? They're okay. Though I think that might mainly be to do with the fact that I don't like baked beans, and everybody constantly insists on baked beans with their baked potatoes. I'm like, please, stop. Please, just stop what you're fucking doing. I didn't want this. This is not what I signed up for. I signed up for a baked potato. I'm not sure if I like the moss carpet anymore, because because it's so fucking annoying. So goddamn annoying. You have to get it at least in line with the rest of the current floor. Will the current floor stay at that level? No. We're gonna basically, yeah, do a pit thing. We're gonna do a pit kind of thing. It's gonna be a bridge over a pit. It's supposed to be like intimidating. Do I know if it'll be intimidating? No. But we're gonna find out, won't we? We're gonna figure it the fuck out. We're gonna do it here in front of at least 2 people. Hey, there we go. More bone meal. Who doesn't need 7 metric tons of bone meal? I don't even know what a metric ton is. I hate being, like, ever so slightly ill. Because, like, I'm not sick enough for it to do, like, anything really to me. But by God, is it just fucking annoying. Just like, fucking hell. Like, what do you want me to do in this scenario? Hey. Okay. We're gonna stop it at there for this side. But we will do the other side. Yeah, we're gonna continue this pit. It's quite deep, I've died to it several times. And I shall drink my coffee. Yeah, there's no way it's fucking 40 up. This is taking simultaneously a lot longer than I thought and a lot shorter than I thought. Like, this is both really fast and so fucking slow. Well then. Well then. Well then, take 2, Electric Boogaloo. The carpets have me paranoid. Guess this game makes me feel good. Not sure if you want it, I'm not sure if you need me to. Taste the beer every time it talks to you. I'm not sure. Can't stay awake forever. You can't stay awake forever. I like how the blocks jump around because because it's being changed to moths. That's fun. It's just a fun little thing, isn't it? I kind of want the azalea bushes. The blooming azalea bushes. Yeah. I don't know. They're just sweet. They're just sweet. Just like look at that. Look at that fucking thing. That's sick. What? But yeah, I shall continue with my funny little noises. Hey, we're getting there. We're getting there. I say as we get there, oh, so very slowly. I feel like we should do it more than 5 deep. I feel like it should be like 8 deep, probably at the very least. Probably closer to like 10 deep. I'd go for. I'd gotta. We can work on it. We can work on it. I don't actually know how long I want this to be, though. That's the problem. Or deep. I guess we go to, like, at least the end of this cave, right? What? Don't ask me why my go-to noise is woot. I don't know. I could not tell you. Could not have an answer for you there. Like, I don't have an answer for many things. The reason I say woot is one of them. I don't think anybody would have an answer for that. Mainly because most of those people probably don't know how my brain functions. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back a little bit, but that's fine. Just a tad, you know. Hey. Just here with our silly little hoe and our silly little moths. Oh my god, I have to add more to the plant thingy, majiggle. A while ago I made these silly little kind of temple things. One's in a desert, one's in a flower forest, one's in a fucking savannah. And the one in the flower forest just has like all of the plants in the game in it, and I have to add more. I have to add chorus fruit and and technically I never did add the ocean stuff. Like coral. But yeah, and now I have to add all of the deep dark stuff. Oh, I'd have to find an ancient city for that. Or just some skulk, really. If it talks to you. Hmm. Wait, give me a second. I'm gonna put some fucking, like, lo-fi shit on in the background. What? There you go. Okay. Tell me if you can't hear it. But you should be able to. You should be able to hear it, right? Probably. I would assume so anyway. Yeah, no, ignore my stuffed fucking nose. Being sick is stupid. It's stupid. I've made my decision. It's a stupid thing to happen. Like, why? Why? No, I know why. I did basic fucking science. That doesn't mean I agree with it, though. It doesn't mean I agree with it. Just because I know why it happens doesn't mean I agree that it should happen. It's like periods. I don't think people should have to go through that. I don't know. I also, though, I do feel like a good compromise for period havers would be like, okay, clearly their bodies can grow, like, at least most of the time, can grow like whole humans. I feel like if you can grow a human inside of you, you should be allowed or be able to regrow your own limbs. Like, you've proven that your body can do it, right? Like, it's a fact, you've confirmed it. Maybe not confirmed it, right? But I think that should be the trade-off. It's just like, okay, you'll have to bleed every month, but also you'll be able to regrow lost limbs. Isn't that sick? Isn't that nice? Okay. Also, sorry I was translating stuff. Fair. Fair. Understandable, one may say. I have made quite the bit of progress. But yeah, I'll need to go further up and further over for bits. But we'll do that after we get the main chunk carved out, right? But yeah, we're just chilling. Yeah, that's gonna have to go back like a lot, basically. A lot is the answer. Boop, boop. Does it have to be flat? Not particularly, but it's just kind of nicer when it is, isn't it? I'll probably go back by like a bit. Quite a bit, probably, I would assume. And then that can be like... Yeah, we'll do a big dip, a slightly smaller dip, and then either another big dip or an even smaller dip, and then a big dip again. But yeah, it's all gonna have to be shaped more, because, you know, that's a pretty fucking boring shape, isn't it? But yeah, other than that... It's 26 up. Okay. Okay. Or this bit's 26 up. Okay, that's fine. Fuck, we can't really go up right now, can we? We have to go over first, and then we can go up. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah, at least 10 across for this one. We'll see how fast it goes. We'll see if it goes at all. 2, 3. I feel like 4 is decent up. We do know how to dig 10 fucking over though. The entire way across. I thought this through. I thought this through so much. I thought this through so hard. Yeah, definitely. My parents went out for lunch today. They invited me and one of my older siblings with them, but neither of us could go. Me, because I wouldn't be able to eat anything because it was a sandwich place, and just got my braces fucked with, so yeah, anything that I can't really swallow whole sucks. And my sibling had a class. And obviously the dog was left home with us, right? Normally that's fine, but today she decided that she needed my siblings' attention and only theirs. Which is sweet, but also like, you have to leave them alone. They have school. How fucking long is this goddamn thing? Fucking course. Of course it keeps on going. What else would it do in its free time? What else would it fucking do? We've beaten the beast! Kind of, I guess. I suppose. Not really, but... like, enough for now. I need to get a shovel. Oh. Oh, is that my phone? Or... Nope, that's me. Okay. Oh, why is that number still going up? Nice. Is it because of the music? Nope. No, it wasn't. Why does this happen? Why? Why? And now it's at 2000. We're opening the fucking task manager. Because my upload is fluctuating between 0 and 6,000. So, you know, I'm a tad confused. I'm just a tiny bit confused. It's not normally this jumpy. Yet, no, it just went up to like 4,000 again. Why is it so inconsistent? What the fuck? Can you fucking calm down, please? No, apparently you can't. Sorry. Gotta love this part of it. You gotta adore it. Why? Why is it happening? Oh, it's gonna be my fucking parents, isn't it? No, it wouldn't. It